And in connection with that, the sea of glass, the earth being a sea of glass is compared to a Urim and Thummim, which again is a symbolic tool. Like we know very well from the example of Joseph Smith that he implemented the use of the Urim and Thummim, but then kind of got away from it as he grew into his role of prophet. And so again, we see this concept of the earth being a Urim and Thummim. Well, what do we get out of that? Well, we get out of it that the sanctified earth, whose members are the saints, right? They're living in a spirit of revelation, of oneness with God. And I think that's really what the point it's getting at here. Like this is the glory of that sea of glass, of that sanctified earth, is entering into that oneness with God and living in a fullness of the Holy Ghost. We're living in oneness with Christ and with the Father. Next question. What are we to understand by the four beasts spoken of in the same verse? They are figurative expressions used in describing heaven, the paradise of God, the happiness of man, and of the beasts, that which is spiritual, being in the likeness of that which is temporal. The four beasts represents the glory of the classes of beings in their destined order or sphere of creation, and the enjoyment of their eternal felicity. So we've got these beasts being presented here, and first and foremost it says that they represent different degrees or classes of creation, spheres of creation. So we have heaven, which we could say is like celestial sphere, the paradise of God. Probably different ways you can interpret that. You can speak of that of like a spirit paradise, maybe a terrestrial type glory. Happiness of man, it's kind of man implying more of a fullness of celestial glory. And of course, the beasts, which kind of refers to in lower spheres of creation. So, I mean, these are really different levels of creation. So, Book of Revelation's also often referred to as as temple liturgy. So we kind of see these themes of creation being brought in here.
That's exactly where I was going to go. Is there's a lot of overlay and overlap with the temple and with the endowment, and this idea of, this presentation of varying degrees of glory and varying degrees of intelligence, you might say, and that's kind of what's alluded to here and spoken of here. And yet, it talks about, what do these beasts represent? The glory of the classes of beings and their destined order or sphere of creation in the enjoyment of their eternal felicity. And that's in the endowment. It talks about that, how things are organized in a certain sphere. So what? So that they might have joy, right? And so that's actually really critical for us to understand, is that it's so easy for us to feel like this temporal state in which we find ourselves, like when things are really difficult, when we're not doing well for whatever reason, it's so easy to get down and to be really negative and discouraged about where we currently find ourselves. Yet this reminds us that we have been organized in a particular glory at this point, and we have been organized in this glory so that we can have joy.
Hit that like button, leave us a comment, subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate it.
They may seem like little things, but liking, commenting, it helps the algorithm push our content out to more people. So it's our small way of sharing the gospel in a social media age.